Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel for another Star Wars Battlefront II video. It's finally here, the map we've been waiting for over a full year for, and if you're wondering if it's been worth the wait, I can tell you with 100% certainty that yes, it definitely was. I really don't know what I was expecting, but definitely not something as incredible as this map has turned out to be. In my very first game, in fact the very gameplay you're watching right now, I found myself just awestruck at how much fun I was having, and just how incredible dice maps can be when they actually put their minds to it. I think after the absolute joke that the Kessel DLC was, I really wasn't thinking Geonosis would be a fully fleshed out map, but really, it is one of the best maps in Battlefront 2. I absolutely love it already. I think this map in the long run is going to be a very sniper dominated map, but at the moment you'll see all classes represented pretty equally as people are trying to figure out what on earth they are doing, and I don't want to give you guys a full Geonosis review right now as I've only played a handful of matches, but from an aesthetic standpoint they absolutely nailed it. It's so much more than I was ever expecting. If I have one tip for you today, it's just enjoy yourself. Do not stress yourself out about being the first to get Obi-Wan every game. Just relax, play whatever class you want, and just take this map in because it's an incredible experience. Speaking of Obi-Wan, I will say the jury is still out on him, at least for me. I played him in HVV a handful of times and Galactic Assault twice, but both Galactic Assault matches I managed to get him ended on the first phase, so I didn't get much of a feel for him. I really got to play him for like seconds in Galactic Assault. I will say without any upgrades at all, he does feel on the weaker side in HVV, but again, I don't have any upgrades for him whatsoever, and it'll definitely take some time to get there before I can make a hero guide on Obi-Wan. I know when Grievous came out, everyone cried about how weak he was, and now, well, we'll talk about Grievous a little bit later, because this update has proved to be a game changer for him. Before we get into the news, I want to let you guys know that I am giving away an Obi-Wan Kenobi Force FX lightsaber in celebration of his release. To enter, all you have to do is be following me on Instagram, which will be the top link in this video's description, and leave a comment on one of my posts letting me know why you should be the winner. The winner will be contacted tonight, so make sure you get entered, and make sure you have your messages open so I can contact you. I'm planning on doing one of these giveaways for each hero released to Battlefront 2, so Anakin, Dooku, and whoever comes after, so make sure you're following me over there. It's my way of saying thank you for the support, and it's good to spread that social media, you know what I mean? First things first, I want to talk about Obi-Wan's bugs, and luckily, DICE has already addressed these. Fortunately, we don't have another Grievous situation on our hands. Obi-Wan works pretty well from my experience, but he does have a handful of issues people have already been noticing this morning, namely with his regular lightsaber attack and some of his emotes. If you've played with Obi-Wan at all, you'll probably have noticed that his lightsaber doesn't make the attack noise when you hit an enemy, and on top of that, his attacks often have a pretty significant delay between when you hit an enemy and when the damage is actually dealt. It's kind of similar to Han's Detonite charge in that way. I've had times where I've swiped at someone low on health and thought I missed them completely, only to get the kill like a full second later when they're like 2 inches, 3 inches away from me. It's not a huge deal as it doesn't happen all the time, but it does throw you off and makes him feel a lot less smooth than he should when it does happen. Luckily, Ben has said that they already have that on their list to fix, and I hope they get that sound bug fixed in a hotfix really soon, as that does happen all the time. It doesn't happen occasionally. It literally happens all the time. You never get an attack sound, and it can be kind of confusing as to whether or not you even hit a player or not. Sometimes I'm just swinging away at an enemy and I feel like I'm not doing anything to them, even though I know I can see their health bar going down. It would be like shooting at a player but not getting any hit markers. You're still dealing the same amount of damage, but since it's not what we're all used to, it tends to throw us off at least a little bit. Another bug that I've seen happening a lot, which is a pretty big deal, is Obi-Wan just randomly getting stuck in various places across different maps. I've seen it happen on Naboo, Kashyyyk, and Kamino, and I'm pretty sure it can happen pretty much anywhere with a ledge. This clip is from a player called Bauer, and you can see the second he drops off the ledge, he gets caught and just can't move at all. I've seen a lot of people voicing their frustration with this one. Luckily, it hasn't happened to me in any of my games, but this is the kind of bug that DICE does not want players dealing with right now. There are a lot of new people on the battlefront right now, and just imagine if a new player's first experience after a day of desperately trying to play Obi-Wan was spawning in as him and running into a game-ending bug just like this one. It would be enough to turn some players off completely and make them quit right then and there, so hopefully DICE just gets on this and gets this fixed ASAP. Ben confirmed he already brought this up to the QA team, so I suppose it's just a matter of figuring out what causes this particular bug and just moving on from there. But from what I've seen from various clips, it has to do with a certain animation Obi-Wan occasionally does when he's dropping off of ledges, and he seems to have trouble leaving that animation when hitting solid ground. Another bug, and this was one I noticed literally instantly after booting up the game this morning, has to do with Kenobi's emotes, which aren't exactly working properly at the moment. For some bizarre reason, the only a Sith deals in absolutes and the your move emotes are completely bugged in-game. They each play the other line's animation. When you look at them on the preview screen or the home screen, they work completely fine, but in-game they are absolutely broken. I'll play a quick clip so you know what I'm talking about.
Your move. Only a Sith deals in absolutes. Only a Sith deals in absolutes. Your move. Only a Sith deals in absolutes. Your move. Only a Sith deals in absolutes.
This is one of those bugs that just kind of baffles me as to how it made it through QA testing. It's pretty bizarre that no one ever took the time to try those emotes out in-game. They just saw them working fine in the menu and I guess just didn't even look further. Either way, I'm sure that one's a really easy fix. Obviously, none of those bugs are nearly as big of a deal as Grievous's issues last month. For the most part, Obi-Wan actually works really well. His defensive rush is a surprisingly great ability despite me thinking otherwise when I first heard about it. His force push is surprisingly consistent, especially for a force ability. I think there's only been one or maybe two times it hasn't worked when it clearly should have, but honestly, it's way more reliable than Luke's push or Yoda's unleash. When it comes to his mind trick, it's a super solid ability against heroes. Just like Rey's, it always seems to work. I think his is a bit easier to counter, but it's still a really nice ability to get you out of a bind. Like I said, I can't yet say where I'd rank him among the other heroes, as I don't really have him upgraded like I do everyone else, as I haven't had nearly enough time to play him, and I need to get those purple star cards. But I'm gonna try my absolute hardest to get the Obi-Wan How to Not Suck out way quicker than I did Grievous's. Grievous took a lot longer because he was so broken when he was first added, and I pretty much had to make a How to Not Suck on a hero that didn't really work correctly. One final thing to note on Obi-Wan, do not get too used to his ability placement quite yet, as Ben has said the team is planning on swapping his force push and the mind trick around, so keep that in mind. I suppose this is just to stay consistent with the placement of the other heroes' force push abilities. I believe both Yoda and Luke have their force push on the left, so it would only make sense to have Obi-Wan's there as well. Next up, and this news is actually being announced as I make the video, the ATTEs on Geonosis are going to be getting a buff via a server-side update. I have seen a lot of people complaining that the ATTEs are too weak, and I would tend to agree. I ranked up my specialists like 5 times in one game because I was just melting them down with my disruptor shot, and I was pretty much the only person even paying any attention to the objective. I think once people figure out what is going on, they'll get destroyed in seconds if you're playing with even a semi-competent team, and Ben said they are looking at their data to decide how much to buff them. I would say somewhere around a 30% increase in health would be a good place to start, and move from there to see if that's too little or even a little bit too much. Right now, the second phase is a cakewalk if even a few players are even trying to take the ATTEs down. Before I end the video, I just want to bring up Grievous. I want to say if you didn't like using him before because of all of his bugs, I totally understand, but if you know what's good for you, try him out now. He is incredibly good, and honestly, I think he's the best hero in the game for HVV right now. He is truthfully a little bit ridiculous in that game mode, and I'm expecting for him to see some changes to his damage output really quickly, as he can just end people in seconds with very little effort or skill required. I was stomping on a team earlier today with Grievous, and I still have rare star cards. He's amazing at the moment. I would use him while this lasts because I'm just waiting for people to start moaning and saying he's way too good. Now that the thrust surge consistently knocks people down, it just gives him more than enough time to end any hero before they can do anything about it because they'll be on the ground the entire time. Well guys, that is going to do it for today's video. There will be a second video coming on later today, so definitely keep an eye out for that. I may do a stream tonight if you guys want one. I focus mostly on videos lately, but I've been seeing people begging for a stream for a long time now, so if you guys want that, maybe I'll do a short Geonosis stream later tonight. Guys, if you did enjoy today's upload, please be sure to drop a like, and if you are new around here, absolutely make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Also, make sure you get entered to win that Kenobi lightsaber. Like I said, winner will be contacted tonight. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. I'm solo.